Good morning, Miss Pierce, third period class. My name is Kevin DacostaNeves. The topic that I was covering over this project was that people should not serve time in prison for non-violent or low-level crimes. My first action was that I contacted a lawyer named Joel DeFabio. I called him because he's a criminal lawyer and he's dealt with cases related to my topic. He told me that first offenders, he told me that normally they would just pay a fee, or like a slap on the wrist, or don't do it again, or a warning. But then I asked him, I'm like, should these people be sent to prison? And then he told me that people who repeatedly commit the crimes, they normally get sent to prison, but he thinks that, and I also agree with his answer, he said that people who commit these crimes should normally get community service, some form of counseling, some group counseling, or a behave program. And I agree with him on that. I agree with him on that because 39% of prisoners shouldn't be in prison, or 576,000 people in prison shouldn't be in prison. 25% of those prisoners, or 364,000 people, are almost non-violent or low-level offenders. Like I said, they'd be better off doing community service or some sort of program like that. For my second civic action, I talked to Ms. Tynes in her first period class about how it affects their health. Health-wise, in 2010, inmates were 5 times more likely to be affected by HIV than the general population. Nearly 10 to 20% of the inmates suffer from a serious mental illness, which is often made worse while they're in prison. And being incarcerated can negatively affect their mental health by overcrowding various forms of violence, enforced solitude, lack of privacy, lack of meaningful activity, and all of this can lead up to suicide in prison. I also discussed how the unemployment rate for ex-prisoners is a lot higher than the rate during the Great Depression. The reason why there's so many that are unemployed is because that they're labeled as a criminal, and some of them don't even give the chance to look at a application form for a job. I also discussed about releasing the prison. Now, releasing the prisoners would save the government over $20 billion, and it would also be enough to employ 270,000 new police officers, 360,000 prohibition officers, and 327,000 school teachers. I also mentioned how it would affect their families. Now, the children, if they have kids, they would begin to have problems in schools. Their classmates would make fun of them, and their attendance and grades would suffer. Also, when some family members go into prison, it's likelihood that the family would break off or stop communicating with the person who went into prison. Also, mothers that are incarcerated have a higher chance of having their child taken away from them and have a stronger chance of not getting them back. Well, they'd have to fight through court and stuff to get them back. For my third civic action, what I did was that I made an Instagram account that discusses people who commit nonviolent and low-level crimes, and how they shouldn't be imprisoned. The Instagram account posts facts about, it posts facts how the unemployment rate is bad for ex-prisoners and how they should be given the opportunities to get jobs. The account also follows important people like Donald Trump, Obama, Hillary Clinton, the White House. And hopefully enough that the account would gain enough followers and it would be getting a lot of activity that these people would recognize the account and would discuss or make a difference about these laws and changes. Hopefully it'll get Donald Trump's attention, and he'll be like, all right, let's cut, these prisoners out that committed these nonviolent or low-level crimes, or they'll discuss about the justice system and how they should change, how they should punish people who commit these crimes.